As a Bear fan, I've really come to a realization during this 2012 NFL season. And that is quite frankly that the team that I love, that I've loved for over 25 years, bores the shit out of me pretty much every single time I watch them play. And a large part of that reason is because they're basically doing the same shit they've done since the mid 1980s. The Bears organization still to this day has tried to feed us this BS about, oh, it's all about bear weather. The Bears usually lose in damn bear weather. Look at this year when they played Houston in bear weather. Houston, a dome team, came into Soldier Field and beat them. Oh, this is bear football. You know what bear football is? It's now losing football. Or especially if it's somewhat winning football in the regular season, it sure as hell isn't going to get the job done in the playoffs anymore. This whole philosophy of having to have a dominant defense and pounding the ball using a ball control offense just isn't enough to get the damn job done anymore. And as a Bear fan, as I sit there and I watch them on Thursday night or on Sunday afternoon or Sunday night or Monday night, most weeks during this 2012 season, I've quite frankly at times found myself very bored watching the Bears. Even some of the games they played against garbage teams like Jacksonville and Tennessee where they blew them out of the water. The games were just flat out boring to me. In large part because they play the same fucking style of football on both the offensive and defensive side of things for almost 30 damn years now. At least as long as I've been a Bear fan. And they sure as hell don't have the great captivating characters that they had in the mid-80s on their team. It's really like the Bears' organizational philosophy when it comes to, especially the offensive side of the football, is that they want to play checkers, and the good teams in the NFL, the teams that get it, the teams that understand that the NFL continues to change and evolve, the Bears in a copycat league continue to want to play checkers when all these other good teams are playing fucking chess. In case the Bears don't realize it, and they don't, you could tell based off of their draft philosophy over many years and the way they call games on the offensive side of the football. Today's game is about the passing game. And in particular, not stretching the field just vertically in the passing game, but the ability to stretch teams' defenses out horizontally via the passing game. Having 3, 4, 5 weapons at wide receiver, or having 1 or 2 tight ends that you can line up on the line of scrimmage, next to the tackle. You can line them up in the slot, or hell, bring them out of the backfield, or line them up wide, or having a running back or 2 that you can line up out in the wide receiver position. It's not about pounding the damn line of scrimmage anymore. It's not about being conservative and playing field position football in the ball control offense and controlling the clock. It's not. It's about time that the damn Chicago Bears organization wakes up, catches up with the times, or hell, at this point, at least enters the 21st century when it comes to the offensive side of the football. It's about stretching the field horizontally and then vertically in the passing game. This ball control crap has got to go. Not only is it not winning them championships, quite frankly, it's just flat-ass boring to watch after so many years of watching the same style of football played, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to clearly illustrate to you some of the good teams that have enjoyed success in recent years in the NFL and what they've done in terms of draft and free agency and how they've built their offensive skill positions. And then give you an example of how not to do it, which is, of course, yet again, when it comes to the draft and offseason shit, how the Chicago Bears have done it, and why the Bears, even if they wanted to play the style of football that other good teams are doing in the NFL right now, just flat out couldn't do it even if they wanted to. In the description box down below, you'll notice that I listed 7 teams and their skill players, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. And what all of these teams have in common, with the exception of the Atlanta Falcons, is that since the 2001 season, each and every single one of these teams have won the Super Bowl. The Patriots 3 times, the Giants twice, the Steelers twice, the Packers, the Saints, and the Colts 1 time each. The Falcons, since they drafted Matt Ryan in 2008, have been a good team and seem to get a little better each and every single year. But I need to compare, for my benefit, or more so I should say your benefit, to help understand why these teams are good and why the Bears aren't. Meaning why these teams have really contended at different times for Super Bowls, some of them on a year in, year out basis, and again, the Bears don't. Let's start off with the quarterback position. Every one of these teams, with the exception of the New Orleans Saints, who signed Drew Brees in free agency after the 2005 season, drafted their franchise quarterback. And Brady was the only one of the guys that was drafted by his team that wasn't a first-round pick. He was taken in the 6th round of the 2000 draft. Imagine that. Tom Brady in the 6th round. Think about how many other organizations wish they could have that draft back, huh? And not since 2002, when Brad Johnson of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the time did it, has a quarterback not drafted by his team won a Super Bowl. Now, some of you are going to say, well, what about Eli Manning? Well, what about him? He was still technically a draft day acquisition by the New York Giants in 2004. The Chargers, in large part, took Eli Manning number 1 overall because they knew somebody was going to trade up for him any damn ways, and the Giants did. So they took Phillip Rivers 4th overall. They swapped those two guys. Then the Giants gave up a 3rd rounder in that draft in 2004, and then a 1st and 5th rounder in the following draft. The Bears, after years of failure to properly address this position via free agency with legends like Cordell Stewart, trades with legends like Rick Meyer, who they gave up a 1st-round pick to the Seahawks for, the 1st round of the draft with legends like Cade McNown and Rex Grossman. The Bears had to bite the bullet, they felt, as a franchise, make a big statement move, and grossly overpaid to try and find their guy from another team. They gave up 1st rounders in 2009 and 2010, a 3rd rounder in 2009, and a starting quarterback in Kyle Orton, gave that all to the Denver Broncos to get Jay Cutler in return. So the Giants gave up less to get Eli Manning, who has been a much better football player, than what the Bears gave up to the Denver Broncos for a guy that had already been in the league 3 years and had some baggage that he brought along with him. And when you look at the statistics over the past decade plus, you look at it, the majority of the teams that have enjoyed consistent, sustained success and have won Super Bowls, by and large, have been teams that have drafted their franchise quarterback, in particular in the 1st round of the draft. Now, the Houston Texans may buck that trend this year with a guy in Matt Schaub that they traded for, I'll grant you. But in general, this should clearly illustrate to you a major, major problem for the Bears organization. The most important position in sports, maybe in the entire world. The majority of the teams that enjoy consistent long-term success or have won Super Bowls in the past decade or so have all drafted their franchise quarterback in the 1st round. What did the Bears do? They gave up 2 first-rounders, a 3rd rounder, and Kyle Orton to try and get theirs. And we wonder why the Bears haven't won a Super Bowl since 1985, huh? Now, when it comes to the running back position, there are few organizations that have had a better track record at any position than the Bears have had with running backs over the course of that organization's history. I mean, going back to the days of Grange and Nagurski and freaking guys like Beatty Feathers and One Play McAfee and other guys like Willie the Wisp Gallimore and Rick Caceres and Gale Sayers and Sweetness Walter Payton, Neil Anderson, and to now Matt Forte. What a steal he was, getting Matt Forte out of Tulane in the 2nd round of 2008. And when you look at the other teams that I listed below, they all would die to have a running back the caliber of Matt Forte in terms of he's an okay north-south runner. He's a little bit of a better east-west runner, stretching defenses out in the running game on the perimeter. But his best tools are in the passing game as a wide receiver, out of the backfield, in the slot, lined up out wide, running routes out in motion. I mean, Matt Forte is a better pass catcher than he is a runner. And in today's NFL, where it's about stretching the field in the passing game horizontally and vertically, each and every single one of these teams would absolutely love to have a Matt Forte be their featured back in their offense, because unlike the Bears, they would actually properly utilize his skills and talents. And this whole mindset of the Bears over the years of wanting to be a ball control offense and being a north-south running team and pounding the ball and controlling the clock and playing field position and being conservative just isn't getting the job done anymore. And it's so fucking 1980s. It really is. In fact, out of the 7 teams I listed below, the only other team that really has, you could argue, a real workhorse or featured back is Michael the Burner Turner. And then he doesn't have nearly the all-around skill set that a Matt Forte does. Michael Turner, even especially now, is pretty much a one-dimensional north-south between the tackles runner. A good one still, but not as good as he once was, but definitely not much in the passing game for sure. Most of the rest of these teams, they pretty much all employ some type of running back by committee with 2, 3, 4 running backs that all come in and get some carries out of the backfield or catch some balls out of the backfield. So the Bears have the one thing that you would think in theory would be a great starting point to having a really explosive passing offense, and that's the running back that could do a little bit of everything. But not the Bears. They would rather just play a physical, ball control, pound the ball, grind the clock offense. And again, why haven't the Bears won a Super Bowl since 1985? And then we get to what I feel in some ways is an even bigger area of deficiency and suck for the Chicago Bears than even the offensive line is. And that is the wide receiver and tight end crew. I mean, because you have some of the teams listed down there below, they don't have the greatest offensive lines in the world. Green Bay won a Super Bowl in 2010, and they didn't have a great offensive line by any stretch of the imagination, especially in the pass protection. So this whole thing about Cutler has to have good blocking to necessarily win. Well, he could have 10 seconds to throw every fucking time, but if his wide receivers and tight ends are boo-boo, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. It doesn't even matter whether I think Cutler sucks or not, even though he does. But when you look at these teams listed down below, and some of you are asking me probably, why in the hell did you list the Colts? Well, you figure the Colts won a Super Bowl in the 2006 season with Peyton Manning at the helm. But you look at them now, they're 8-4, they're in the playoff hunt, and they've done a lot of things right in the draft over the years, so I felt they were appropriate to bring in here. Each of these teams that I listed below has a receiving core that has someone who can go deep and someone who can make plays out of the slot, whether that be another wide receiver or 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a running back, combination of weapons, what have you, doesn't matter. We'll even take out the running back, just say wide receivers and tight ends. They have guys that could go deep, guys that can go over the middle, guys that can make plays out of the slot. Each of these teams has at least one legit tight end to differing levels of degree that creates matchup problems, and a couple of them, like the New England Patriots, for example, have 2, and I believe, very soon you'll realize the Indianapolis Colts with Coby Fleener and Dwayne Allen have 2. What great matchup problems they create, and what a great assortment of weapons a lot of these teams listed in that description box have. And the majority of these players acquired by each team were acquired through the draft. Sure, there's a free agent pickup here and there or a trade here and there, but a lot of the core was still acquired through the draft. And when you look at the Bears at the wide receiver and tight end position, look at the fact they drafted Greg Olsen in the first round in 2007. What a phenomenal pick that was in theory. It was a combination of fitting talent, need, and scheme. They've had such a gaping hole at tight end for such a long time, it almost was too good to be true when they actually did take Greg Olsen. One of the few times they've actually taken the guy that I wanted them to take. The 2 times that they did, their names were Tommy Harris and then, of course, Brian Urlacher. So usually when the Bears take who I want them to take in the first round, it works out. Most of the other times they don't, and they usually crap out. You take that to mean what it does. But you look at it. In order to get a real legit number 1 wide receiver, the Bears had to give up 2 third-rounders to get just one legit wide receiver, a legit number 1, a stud like Brandon Marshall, where other teams have been able to use those picks to draft their own weapons at wide receiver. Look at a team like the Green Bay Packers. They took Greg Jennings in the second round of 2006. They took Jordy Nelson in the second round of 2008, I believe. Yes, 2008. They took Jermichael Finley in the third round of 2008 at tight end. They took Randall Cobb in the second round of the 2011 draft. James Jones was a third-round pick from back. Donald Driver was, a seventh-round pick back in 1999. So these picks that the Bears are trading to try and find a guy that somebody else was able to draft and find, other good teams use these picks primarily to draft their own. Sure, the Dolphins once traded for Wes Welker, but they gave up a second and a seventh-round pick. They didn't have to give up 2/3 to get him. And look at what Welker's become for them. I mean, when you look at it, the Bears' failure to properly evaluate and address this position in the draft really is a tremendous concern. That's both wide receiver and tight end. When you think about it, the Bears over the years have, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, over the past decade, have taken... Bernard Berrien in the third round of 2004 kind of worked out for a little bit before he left. But in 2003, Justin Gage and Bobby Wade, they were nothing special. 2005, Mark Bradley and Maurice Curry. Oh, those were good ones. Oh. Think about what else you've got. Freaking taking guys like Joaquin Iglesias in 2009. Oh, God. Oh. They took Johnny Knox in the 5th round of 2009. He was okay, but he's not around now, so it doesn't really count. And, taking guys like Alshon Jeffrey in the 2nd round, taking a guy like Earl Bennett in the 3rd round. Some of these guys that they've taken that have been okay are the type of players the Bears always take. The safe type of guys with a nice, good, solid, high floor, a vaulted floor, and it's kind of a inverted ceiling, a caved-in ceiling. We don't want the vaulted ceiling. We don't want the guys with all-world potential. Just want that guy with the nice vaulted, elevated platform of the floor. Well, obviously the philosophy hasn't worked. And when you look at the draft position that a lot of these weapons by these other teams were taken, you could see that these teams, again, get it, and the Bears don't. Look at the Colts draft this year in 2012. They took their franchise quarterback, Andrew Luck, number 1 overall. Then they followed that up in the 2nd round with the tight end, Colby Fleener, his college teammate at Stanford. Then in the 3rd round, they took another tight end, Dwayne Allen from Clemson. Then followed that up later in the round, a guy that I really loved coming out of Florida International, T.Y. Hilton, a wide receiver. Then they find guys like Vic Ballard, a running back in the 5th round, who's playing some big spots for him on offense. Levon Brazil, a wide receiver in the 6th round. All of these weapons that they surrounded their new franchise quarterback with, all out of one draft. And the Chicago Bears choose to draft people like Joaquin Iglesias to surround Jay Cutler with. Oh, God. And then in 2012, this past year's draft, when clearly the 2 biggest needs for this organization were offensive line and wide receiver, and you could argue which one was more important. They took a defensive end that didn't really fit their scheme because he's a better fit as a 3-4 outside linebacker. The stupidity is mind-blowing. They have no other legit weapons on this offense on the outside or at tight end to help Marshall or Jay Cutler. They don't. Do not fucking tell me that Alshon Jeffrey is a real legit weapon. Bullshit. Earl Bennett a weapon? Bullshit. Devin Hester a weapon in the passing game? Bullshit. And even Matt Forte now. They refuse to deploy him consistently because Mike Tice is a moron when it comes to the passing game. So he's not a weapon in the passing game. They have nobody else for Cutler to really throw to that he could count on a consistent basis, and they have nobody else to take double and triple team attention away from Brandon Marshall. And look at the tight end position. The fact that Kellen Davis, a 5th round pick in 2008, who is nothing special, is the Bears' number 1 tight end is a complete and absolute joke. As NFL offenses have evolved and made tight ends a more integral part of what they do in the passing game, the Bears would rather have a tight end who's a great run blocker. Yeah, because that's what you need. Yeah, because the New England Patriots took Gronkowski and Hernandez in the same draft in the 2nd and 4th round because of their run blocking skills, right? Get the fuck out of here. Because the Atlanta Falcons traded for Tony Gonzalez before 2009 because they wanted him for his great run blocking. He's a solid run blocker, but you bring him in because he can get open and catch the fucking football at a Hall of Fame level. No, the Bears, when they scout for a damn tight end, they say, no, no, no. We want a guy that can block first because that's important. Bullshit! It's time for this organization to wake up. Look at the 4th round pick this year. It just epitomizes everything. Even when they kind of hit on somebody, they still can't get it right. They take Evan Rodriguez, a tight end out of Temple. I didn't really like him. You know why? Because I didn't foresee him as the Aaron Hernandez type of pass-catching weapon at tight end out of the slot and as an H-back that the Bears seemed to think he could be. They didn't know what the hell they were talking about. He's now a run-blocking starting fullback for that team. And you look at all of those teams that I listed down below in the description box. Every one of them. How many of them really use a fullback 80 or 90% of the time? None. They have 2 or in some cases 3 or 4 or 5 wide receivers that could cause damage on the outside. They have 1 or 2 tight ends that cause damage over the middle and in the slot and in the seam. And all the while, the Bears are drafting 4th rounders to play fullback and then don't even deploy them in the damn passing game. Damn it! Every time I think about this, it just pisses me off more and more. And I'm tired of Bears fans sticking up for this organization with stupid shit and excuses. No, this is bullshit, and you guys should have had enough of it too. Everybody else in the damn world can see it. Why can't you? Until the Bears can draft their own guy at quarterback, particularly in the first round, until they can learn that it's not the running game that wins in today's NFL, it's the ability to stretch defenses out in the passing game horizontally and vertically, and until they get the weapons at wide receiver and tight end for their new quarterback, whenever they finally bring him in and replace Cutler, because he's not going to work out long term, and that guy that they have to take in the first round, and until they give him weapons like Indianapolis did with Andrew Luck in this 2012 draft, the Bears aren't winning a Super Bowl now, and they're not doing it anytime soon. And it's time, yet again, for Bears fans to come to this realization, for the Bears organization to wake up and stop playing checkers and start playing some damn chess. The next video I'm going to do about the Bears is going to talk about their failures in the draft when it comes to the trenches, and in particular, the offensive line, which is a common favorite punching bag for most Bear fans and the national media. I understand, but it's been really bad when it comes to their drafting on the offensive line as well.